Welcome to Entrepreneurship 101, starting a business in Fairfax County. Entrepreneur Spotlight. Join me in welcoming Mr. Nahum Jeannot, founder and chief oatmeal officer for GoOats. Nahum, welcome. Nahum was born to be an entrepreneur, and it's no surprise that he landed in the culinary space, given his passion for cooking and eating good food. Mind you, I said eating good food. He's had a 360 view of the industry, having shared and served in numerous roles, from inner city restaurants to luxury hotels. Now, as an entrepreneur, he is living the dream and inspiring others. I'd like to introduce to some and welcome others, Nahum Jeannot. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Karen. This is a pleasure. Happy to be here with all of you.
Thank you. So, Nahum, it's interesting. I met you back in 2017. I remember we were at a Whole Foods. You were doing a cooking demonstration. There was a group of folks around you and kind of stood back and waited for the crowd to dissipate and went up to you. And you were just so generous with your time. And flash forward 2020, I'm watching TV, Shark Tank, and I see you. And I'm like, I know that guy. So, how did you get here? How did all of that happen?
Great question. I think that was with Whole Foods. I think that was in Silver Spring or something. But yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Yeah, so at that time, we were in about 12 or 13 Whole Foods, and at basically you could go into a Whole Foods store and pitch your product to their team leaders. If they liked it, they approve it, and their region approved it, and basically said, okay, you can sell to as many stores as you can deliver the product to. And so at the time where we met, we were in about 13 stores, and the goal, just like anybody else that may be out there that's in the CPG space, is to get into as many stores as possible, grow in the Whole Foods network, go national with them. And I wanted to do that from day one, but it's baby steps, of course. And so in the 13 stores, we'd demo every single week. I'd be there every Sunday afternoon. I eventually brought on another individual, young lady. She did it Saturdays, and basically since 2017 to about 2019, we're like just demoing every week. We're producing the product at nighttime. I had a full-time job at the time, and so I'd make the deliveries in the morning, like starting at 4 or 5 a.m. before going into work. Going to work, after work, go into the kitchen and produce with the team. Weekends, demo. And so really grow the brand, grow within the community. And at the end of 2019, Whole Foods calls, and they say, hey, we've never seen such a small brand, with making such a splash like this in the small amount of stores that we're in. And they're like, hey, we want to planogram you. Which means planogram means basically they have 62 stores across the Mid-Atlantic region. So they placed us, basically each store has to carry your brand. It has to be on the shelf in a specific spot. And so that was like what we've been working for and waiting all this time for. And like, it was amazing. So 2019, the summer of 2019, we launched into the 62 stores. And basically, they wanted to see us replicate that same success that we did in 14 stores. And we got to work, still kept the same strategy, shifted to some digital marketing. And then 2020, we had a lot of big plans. We wanted to apply for Whole Foods National, wanted to go into a lot of other retailers. We had some deals on the table, and COVID hit. And COVID couldn't have come at a worse time. I think everybody could agree with that. And, initially retail did very, very well for us. Everything, went up like 100%, 200%. But then what happened was buying patterns changed. with our customer base. You know, parents, moms are now working from home, kids are now at home. And so, and furthermore, a lot of folks stopped actually physically going to the stores. And so for us being a new brand, we didn't really have a whole lot of online presence. So our sales took a massive dip, like probably around 50%. And so we knew, we were confident. So that dip taught us two things. The product works, it's just buying patterns changed. And so I talked to my partner and we're like, let's just be patient and see what happens. And and you know, out of nowhere, Shark Tank reaches out, and you know, I never really wanted to do Shark Tank until our sales were like at a higher number. Because last thing I wanted was to go up there and have Kevin O'Leary tear us to pieces and you know call us little cockroaches. And
So what was that like, being in front of the sharks?
Yeah, it was amazing. It happened so fast. I wish I could go back and slow it down a little bit. It was nerve wracking to some degree, and then but once the camera went on, I kind of forgot about the camera and was just dealing with the five individuals in front of me. And once they started, my pitch part was done, and they started asking questions. And I kind of got into a little bit of a groove, but it was great. Like the energy in the room, it's truly they call it Shark Tank for a reason. Questions coming at you, 90 miles an hour. It was amazing.
And so how did you prepare to be on the show?
Uh, you, the application process is very lengthy, very lengthy. Really knowing your numbers. What you know, I binge watched a lot of Shark Tank episodes, which did not really serve me well because none of the questions that they typically ask, the questions I was preparing for, you just never know. Um, you can't really prepare for because they're asking questions off the cuff. They don't have any insight on your business prior to you getting there, and so it's really like a conversation. They just flow. And but I think just knowing your product, like I built the brand from conception to where to the point we were in front of the shark. So everything was in here. It was just a matter of not controlling the nerves and answering their questions and knowing your numbers. That was important too.
Okay. And you mentioned the impact of COVID on your business. Can you talk a little bit about what happened to you? I know that you were gainfully employed, and then there was a little kind of kink that occurred.
Yeah. So I've been a chef for the past, 12, 13 years. And I was at the Hyatt over in Tyson's, amazing property. And I opened up that property 5 years ago. And, but, Hyatt, just like every other hotel brand and restaurants, they really took a beating with once COVID hit. And so, little by little, there was a lot of restructures. It started off with us getting furloughed and then temporary layoff. But yeah, I never saw that coming. But simultaneously, I was always building the company. And so when I got laid off, I mentioned this on the show. I looked at it as a blessing. Because I had the opportunity. I've had the itch to work on it full time. But, I expected, someone to write me a check for $1 million and say, hey, go after it. I didn't expect it to come at the end of a pandemic. But, you just take it as it comes and you just move forward. And so when Shark Tank reached out, like I looked at, my partner, I'm like, hey, this must be God. So we like, because we didn't apply, like it just, they found us, and so we just went with it, and next thing you know, we're in Vegas.
Okay. So, Nahum, what skills have helped you the most get this far in the entrepreneurial journey?
Uh, wow, you asked a lot of great questions. I Grit has to be one of them. Grit coupled with like work ethic and diligence. You know, I'm not. I, I I say often like, you know, I'm not like the smartest like book smart type individual, but whatever it is that I'm doing, like I work. You know, I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to outwork everybody else in the room, or at least I'm going to try to. And so I think that has probably um, pushed me forward and has been a catalyst to our growth. Like whatever obstacles come up, you know, you just continue to push, continue to grind.
So, what value do you see it being in Fairfax County or Northern Virginia for your company?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't. I moved here about 10 years ago or 11 years ago now from Philadelphia, and I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, just the support that I've received. I love the diversity of Northern Virginia, but you know, from a business side, you know, I met you several years ago, and in the Whole Foods, and you recommended me to Score, and from Score, I met Suzanne, who's now my mentor, and it's just been amazing. But you know, the fact that we're doing business in an environment that also promote, like Fairfax County is basically championing you and cheerleading you to build and to grow. Like it's amazing, and it's an ecosystem. You know, Suzanne. Suzanne knows you got like. I was joking with Suzanne the other day. I'm like, it's a good thing I never burnt any bridges because everyone knows each other. But yeah, it's, you know, if you need counseling, if you need money, you know, you guys have helped out with real estate. You know, looking into real estate needs for us. You know, so it's just great to have a resource that you can always call on.
Okay, I've got a few more questions for you, but I'd like to open it up also to the audience. If you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A section on the control panel. So what's next for GoOats?
There's, you know, we just got featured in the startups, the 21 startups to watch in Washington Business Journal. And so, you know, now that comes with an immense level of pressure. So now we have to perform. But no, all jokes aside, we have a lot of new SKUs we're working on. We have some new flavors. There's a couple product lines that we want to roll out as well. I'm not going into details. You have to follow us on social media or Instagram to see as we roll them out. There's a lot of new store partnerships that are coming, like just around the corner. And so 2021 and beyond, like, but specifically 2021, is really like going to be a huge growth year for us. You know, we'll likely be in 1,500 stores by the summertime. And yeah, it's going to be a great year. Busy for sure.
That's amazing. Your product is quite delicious. It falls into the category of good food. The brown sugar cinnamon and the blueberry.
Yeah.
I can personally attest to it being really good. So it's great to hear that you're expanding product line and creating new products. Is there one piece of advice or takeaway that you would leave, or that people that are attending and listening in could take away from the webinar?
Yeah, you know, I guess this is more so targeted towards those that are starting a business, but even those that are already in business. I mean, you know, obviously keep grinding, keep moving forward, and you know, be self-aware and know, hey, you know, when it's time to pivot. You know, there's a time to be stubborn, but then there's also a time to kind of like shift. But to those just starting out or thinking about starting out, I would just say, just do it, like at all costs possible, because if you're here, you could be anywhere else, you know. So clearly entrepreneurship is in your blood. And so, you know, but just, you're always going to find a reason why you shouldn't do it, and there's sometimes where you have to walk away from something. But I think, you know, a lot of people that I've talked to, friends, they want to start something, but then there's no money. There's no this, there's no that. I don't know how. There's a lot of, like, I've never run a manufacturing plant before, but every single day I'm learning, I'm figuring it out because it just comes with the territory. Not having money, I'm a firm believer in, hey, if you build it, they will come. Like there's just going to be people that just surround you, like that offer help. Like just like I was in the store demoing and you came over and I met you, but I was already in the process of doing it. So I think if you have an idea, you have something that just keeps, um, the idea just keeps coming back. You can't shake it. Go for it and just see what happens. And I think that's the biggest piece, because you'd be surprised who's going to come around you and support you, and who knows if you have a home run. So, but you won't know unless you step out and go for it.
So there are two questions here, and I'm going to combine them. They focus on marketing, the marketing aspect. Which social media platform helped you the most? And did you outsource your marketing?
So I'm kind of like I'm my team. I have a couple people on my team. If they're listening, they'll probably chuckle. But I'm kind of like, hey, do we really need social media? And they're like, yes, we need social media. Because I'm like, 15 years ago there was none, but we live in a day and age where everybody's online, and so I use Instagram and Facebook. We're in the process of, they want me to start a Twitter account so that I can comment and stir up trouble on Twitter with other brands, etc. Have fun, but yeah, Instagram has been huge for us. They both target like different demographics. And so, but most of the time, we're pretty active on Instagram, and that's where we see the most engagement as well. And yes, so we've gone back and forth. Sometimes we in-house the social media marketing efforts. We have a couple of digital agency brands when we're trying to convert sales online for e-com. But also we have a social media manager that takes care of all our posts and engages with our customer base as they reach out.
Great, thank you. So it looks like we're out of time. Nahum, it's great to have you here. Thank you for sharing your experiences and lessons that you've learned along the way. Thanks again to all of our guest speakers, and thank you, audience, for taking time out of your day and tuning in. I hope that we provided you with some valuable advice and insights on how to start and grow your own business.